Now that's original.
All right. Welcome to Original Thursdays. I'm really excited to be joined by Mr. Curt Oxford here. And I got to meet him through his daughter. His daughter, Jamie Virola, was a teacher at the school where I was the principal. And I have worked with a lot of really good teachers, but I have to say Mrs. Virola is tops. Just an excellent teacher, one of the hardest working teachers that I've ever met or had the pleasure of working with. But through that relationship, I got to meet Mr. Oxford here and found out he's just a phenomenal songwriter, written over 160 songs. Most of them sacred songs or gospel songs. A few others, like the one we'll do here in just a moment, I'm not even sure how you would categorize them. They're not really gospel songs, but they're songs of the heart. There's my
Yeah, I
that
would say that, yeah. Songs of creation, celebrating creation.
Yes, sir.
Songs of the heart, yeah.
So you are originally or you were born in California, is that
Yeah,
right?
my dad, I was born in California, then at the age of 5 years old, we went to Idaho. Mm-hmm. My dad was stationed at Mountain Home Air Force Base and settled in the Caldwell area, part of the Treasure Valley. So funny because I live in the Treasure Valley, or the Treasure Coast in Florida, but the Treasure Valley in Idaho is where we were raised. And I was raised on a farm out in Caldwell, Idaho. But I loved Idaho. I was raised. My dad at one point had a little house right on the Little Salmon River, and fly fishing, crystal clear, beautiful, beautiful river. And I went through a very difficult time because my parents were getting divorced.
Oh no!
And I was getting bullied at school. Unfortunately, I was rather small when I was in school. And so I just, I think I walked around with the sign that said, "Pick on me," And so fly fishing became my consolation. Mm-hmm. So I used to tie flies and go fly fishing on the river. And that just, as soon as I hit that water, I would feel kind of healed. I would feel consoled. And I didn't know the Lord at the time, unfortunately. But that river gave me consolation. And I really think that was his way of giving me some grace and mercy. Mm-hmm. Because he wants to give grace and mercy. Mm-hmm. He wants us to be comforted. And sometimes he'll do that. He'll give us a dog. He'll give us a neighbor who drops by and gives us a pie or whatever. Or just people checking in on you. He gives you mercy. And
he has
comfort.
so many ways. Countless ways.
Good at it. But I ended up moving to Florida because I was in a relationship I had no business being in. And that just tore my heart apart in my early 20s. And then I came to Florida because I had a buddy that said, "You need to get over this girl, dude.
Yeah.
Come down to Florida and hang with me for a couple of weeks." Well, it turned out to be 2 months. And then I ended up giving my life to the Lord. That was my problem. Mm-hmm. I was looking for God. I was looking for the Lord. Mm-hmm. And finally, when I gave my life to the Lord, everything fell into place. I met my wife and the whole bit, but I longed for Idaho. Every time I went back, I had too much of my soul there.
Yeah.
Too much of, as a song we'll do later on, it was in my blood. You can't get it out, I'm sure that's the same way with you guys here,
Sure, yeah.
It's ingrained, the smells. And
Yeah. I want to share what little bit I know about Idaho in a second, but first, before I forget, I just want to say that Curt performs in a lot of churches. He has his own YouTube channel, and I'm going to put links in the description below where you can go hear more of his songs. And I've heard your song about Salmon River. It's also a great song. We've picked out about 4 that we're going to share with you, and we'll probably break them up and do them maybe one at a time or post them one at a time. But you're going to get to hear on our channel about 4 of Curt's songs, but I'll put links down where you can go and hear even more of his songs. But I've really enjoyed every single one of them that I've heard.
I appreciate that. I do.
Now, back to Idaho, it's funny because I had, I guess I didn't pay a lot of attention in school to, things about geography. And in my mind, for a long time, well into my adulthood, I had Idaho kind of categorized alongside Nebraska. Because I was just thinking, yeah, it's where they grow potatoes.
Sure,
it's just
right.
this flat farmland.
Right.
And then my mom, she's crazy about this program, Mountain Men. And she would watch it, and I'd kind of watch it just to humor her. But there were a couple of, not really characters, a couple of men on that show who were farming in Idaho, and they were getting on rafts and going down these amazing rivers. And there's all these massive mountains and just the most picturesque, scenic place ever. So I was like, well, I had Idaho totally pictured wrong in my mind.
I was 18 before I saw my first potato plant.
Yeah.
I mean, and one of the little towns, well, we lived in Riggins, Idaho, which is fabulous. It's a whitewater town. Mm-hmm. They had a wood mill for a while, then the wood mill burnt down. And it displaced a lot of people because they didn't have any income anymore. But the primary income of the area was sheep, which I was a shepherd. I used to herd sheep as a kid.
How cool.
And cattle, and then lumber. And, the sheep went away because of New Zealand. The lumber went away because other areas took it over, perhaps, or they depleted some. I don't exactly know the history of that. But cattle ranching, they still do cattle.
Okay.
But what's interesting is that the kids always did it at the end of the summer when they would graduate. The graduating high school class would get a big truck tire, inner tube, and a small inner tube with a rope tied between it, and that would be their food and their drinks, and they would float down the Salmon River. Well, then somebody came along and thought, hey, this is a fabulous river for whitewater. Now the whole town is whitewater. Like you have over here at the Ocoee, the Ocoee, and beautiful white water, and you can do the 6-day trips, blah, blah. And then they have the middle fork of the Salmon River, which is on my bucket list. I want to go to the middle fork of the Salmon River one day and fly fish down that river.
Cool.
But the whole town now is clean tourism, great restaurants. They got a restaurant there. If you ever get there, go to the River Rock Cafe. Oh, my goodness gracious. But anyway.
It is an amazing place. I've never been there. Maybe I can go there one day, Lord willing. But I think your song pays great tribute to it. I think after people hear this song, they'll want to go to Idaho.
Well, I bet they just might.
Yeah.
Pretty inspiring.
And this song has a lot of chords in it, so I'm going to get my disclaimer in there that I'm going to miss quite a few of them. But I'm going to try to play quietly so I don't foul up Curt's great presentation of this song. So he's really the quintessential singer-songwriter. He's not just a great songwriter, but he also performs his songs very well, accompanies himself very well on his guitar, and just a great vocal too. So I know you're going to enjoy it, and we're going to try Hey Idaho first, and then, like I said, we've got about 3 others that we're going to try to do, and some of those I may not play on at all, but I'm going to attempt this one and maybe one other.
All right.
Hey, Idaho.
All right.
Can't you hear me calling?
White blossom syringa adorn the riverside beneath Pondarosa. Majestic stands of pine fed by the waters, melted from snow-capped peaks that run through the canyon beneath the mountain's reach. Hey, Idaho, can you hear me calling? Hey, Idaho, over you I'm longing. Hey, Idaho, you're in my blood, you're in my soul. The smell of the sagebrush, freed by summer rains, flow down the hillside where the farmer cuts his hay. Sweet corn and wheat fields sway with a gentle breeze. Off in the distance you can hear a pheasant's wings. Hey, Idaho, Can you hear me calling, hey, Idaho? Over you I'm longing, hey, Idaho. Every farm and mountain scene brings me back to you in my memories. It seemed just like a dream. One day soon I'm coming to people and the land that I lost so. I just thought I'd let you know, no place else could keep me, no place else can free me. Hey, Idaho, you're in my blood, you're in my soul, Idaho. Can you hear me calling, hey, Idaho? Over you I'm longing, hey, Idaho. You're in my blood, you're in my soul. Hey, Idaho.
Okay, that was so good. Thank you so much. And as predicted, I missed most of the song, but a few places I came in.
No, it sounded good to me.
Another thing that I forgot to mention is that Curt is also working on an album. That's another way that I became aware of your music when we kind of started to share rough cuts of songs back and forth together back when I was still working for the school system. And the album that I was working on was Live to Never Die, which took me about 5 years. Yes. And you're about 6 months out maybe from being finished. Yes. On yours. And the problem that you've had is a good problem to have, and that is selecting songs out of that 160 plus songs and then deciding on arrangements. How long have you been working on your album?
Well, he has
other albums that are already released, by the way.
Yeah. I started working on this one in 2015, believe it or not. But people go, well, why is it taking you so long? Well, what I did is I decided to learn how to do music production.
Which is a totally different
thing. You know, I was always able to, God gave me the songs and the chords and be able to perform them to a certain point. But I always wanted to learn, how do they put those songs together? How do they why does this musical part sound so great? So I prayed. I said, Lord, I would really like to learn that and to learn the recording process. And it was so funny because when I first started, I thought, well, I use a computer all the time because I'm a graphic artist. I said, this water's probably 5 feet deep, right? You get down at 5 feet deep when you start learning this stuff and you realize that it's not 5 feet, it's 25. Then you get to 25 and you go, it's 125. And after a while, you gain a great respect for these guys because you realize you're in the Mariana Trench. Oh, yeah. I mean, it is deep. Now, maybe I'm just slow.
Well, it's just so challenging because you have to be the musician, the singer, the sound engineer, the producer. It's all one person, whereas typically that's division of labor. That's split up, and the musician just has to worry about the music, and the sound engineer takes care of the rest, and the producer. So it's understandable that it's taken more than 10 years. Like I say, it took me over 5. And when that album is ready, maybe we can come back and let everybody know here on the channel and how they can get one. But thanks for watching Original Thursdays, and look forward to some more songs from Curt.
Is that big wood?
Interview part first, right?
No, I'm just...
Oh, you're checking the audio.
I'm just seeing how it works when I'm strumming it. All right.
How was that?
It sounded good to me.
Okay.
Beneath the mountains reach, hey, Idaho, I can hear you calling. You're in my blood, you're in my soul. The smell of the sagebrush, freed by summer rains, low down the hillside where the farmer cuts his hay. Sweet corn and wheat fields, sway before the gentle breeze. Off in the distance, you can hear a pheasant's wings. Hey, Idaho, I can hear you calling. Hey, Idaho, well, for you I'm longing. Hey, Idaho, you're in my blood, you're in my soul. Every farm and mountain scene brings me back to you in my memory, where it seemed just like a dream. And one day soon I'm coming to people and the land that I love so. I just thought I'd let you know, no place else could keep me, no place else could free